One big thing that makes me more productive is batch recording. 220 countries watch my videos, and I put closed captions in 56 languages to all of my videos. It has opened a lot of doors for me to become a better physician, I think, a better educator, a better teacher. My colleagues see me as an educator with respect. My prescription pad contains take this medicine, and by the way, this medicine that I'm prescribing to you, I have a video, and now I don't need to spend 12 minutes telling them about all the side effects and what it takes.
Imagine growing your YouTube channel from 0 to 530,000 subscribers, and imagine generating 1 million views per month and having your YouTube channel open up the door to opportunities like getting to write a book with a traditional publisher, leading to new business, and ultimately leading to greater impact in the world. Well, today's conversation on the Think Media podcast is with Dr. Andrea, and I'm so excited because her YouTube channel is all about the causes, prevention, and treatment and management of chronic pain. And she is impacting people's lives, publishing content, and her story contains a lot of insights for how we can grow our channels and our businesses. So, Dr. Andrea, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Shan, for inviting me to be here today.
So for those that are just meeting you, can you tell people a little bit about what you do and when you started your YouTube channel?
Yes, of course. I am a physician. I practice in Toronto, Canada. I am originally from Brazil, and I live in Canada for 25 years. And here I work in a pain clinic. So I am a pain specialist. I treat people who have chronic pain. And most of what I do is educating people. So they come to me, they had pain, low back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, headaches and tendinitis, neuropathic pain, a lot of types of pain. And when they come to me, they don't know, what it means to be chronic pain. So I do a lot of education, spend a lot of time talking to them and explaining things. So I started the channel in 2019 because I needed to educate my own patients. And I started recording on my iPhone at home. And I decided to post on YouTube because I said everybody has access to internet and YouTube. And then I did. Initially, I didn't tell anyone, I didn't even tell my family. I didn't want to look like a YouTuber. I was a respected physician, my career. I am a professor of medicine at the University of Toronto. So I did not know how people would see me as, comparing me to those teenagers who do funny things on YouTube. But my patients loved it. They really appreciate it. They came back to me and they said, that's so helpful because it's almost like spending more time with you at home, and my family can watch with me. And I put the words when I speak some difficult words, medical terms, I write down in the screen so they can read. And they loved it. And I guess more people liked it because then my channel just started going, in a lot of views. And I think the journey has been wonderful so far, 4 years doing this, and I don't regret anything.
It's such an inspiring story. Today, you have 530,000 subscribers, but take me back to 2019. How many videos did you post per week or per month at first?
Yeah.
You were using your phone. Were you just editing your own videos on your phone?
Yeah.
And what was like the milestones for you? How much growth did you experience even in that first year?
So first of all, let me say that Think Media, I did not know about Think Media podcast, but Think Media helped me a lot because I had no idea how to edit and use my iPhone. I was editing myself. I use Filmora, and I was able only to do one a month, one video a month, because I was doing everything. And I did everything 2019 and to 2020. And it was only in January 2021 that I decided, listening to you, Shan, you were my big inspiration. I decided to start posting more. And then I hired an editor, which is my son. And then I said, now I can go once a week. And I made a commitment to post once a week. It's hard. I can tell you it's not easy to go from once a month to once a week. You have to come up with content, but it was worthwhile because I had a list of every time I make a list of how many videos I still have to make, it's always more than 100 videos. And the topic is always growing. There's always something to talk about pain. But if it was not for the help that I had from my son being able to edit, and a lot of tricks that I learned from Think Media and the VRA community, I would not be able to do this, because one big thing that makes me more productive is batch recording. And I learned this in VRA.
That's amazing. And you, what was that first milestone? So if you started in 2019, one a month is 12 videos a year. When did you reach, can you remember, around maybe 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers? Did it take,
Yeah.
was it slow at the start? I mean,
No,
it
no, oh
really picked
no.
up probably in the last couple of years to get to over a 500,000,
Okay.
but yeah.
I can tell you the story. So I published my first video February 2019. And then there was no big growth. I can't remember exactly how many I got in the first year, but I remember really well that when the pandemic started in 2020, March 2020, the pandemic started. And then because the pandemic started, my mother, who has osteoporosis, she was in lockdown and she stopped doing her exercises. So on Mother's Day, May 2020, I released my ever first video of exercises. And that was a gift to my mother. I said, I'm giving you this video for you to exercise. It's exercise for osteoporosis that you can do at home. You don't need to get out. So that video didn't get a lot of views until October. So in October 2020, there was an explosion. That video just went vertical. When there is a flat line and then vertical, October. A lot of views. So then I realized that it was my first video that went viral, was that one. But you see, many months after the publication, I said, oh, people like exercise videos. So the next month, November 2020, I released another video of exercise for hip and knee. And those two then pushed my channel up. And then in January 2021, when I started posting once a week, I remember well, I had 10,000 subscribers. And I was still not monetizing because I had no idea that I could do that. And then one friend of mine, he contacted me. He said, Andrea, are you monetizing? Did you sign the YouTube Partner Program? I said, what is that? And he said, you could be making some ad revenues. And then I signed the YPP in January 2021 when I already had 10,000 subscribers. But then I started listening to my audience. I said, okay, they like videos of exercises and they like videos about diet, nutrition, vitamins, because those were the ones that were going a lot of views. And I started posting on those topics more than giving lectures about pain. Although that's why I started my channel, is because I want to explain what is pain, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, those kind of things. But when you listen to your audience, what they want, like bringing those two types of videos, exercises and nutrition, basically brought a lot of viewers that now they watch what I want, which is about the lectures of chronic pain.
Wow. There are so many rich nuggets. And I took a lot of principles away from your journey. You started in 2019, and it reminds us that YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. It was a year of consistency without any major growth. You're figuring things out. But eventually, on Mother's Day in 2020, we say, do for one what you wish you could do for all. And you actually thought about one person, not even on the internet, one person in your life, making this gift for your mom about what she was dealing with in light of her circumstances, to solve one person's specific problem. But then what you ended up doing for her ended up being a blessing to so many more people. But what's also fascinating is that it took time. And this is what, of course, we teach in VRA all the time. It's like, once you kind of start to understand it, it's like, be consistent with the process of posting videos around great topics, but never underestimate what might happen in one of your YouTube videos at day 30, day 90, day 150, 6 months later. And it was actually 6 months after, and being committed to the process. And then success leaves clues. You started seeing, oh, okay, exercise videos are really resonating, doubling down on those. And one of my final takeaways was you listened to your audience, and that eventually caused you to pivot away from the content you were making to content that they were asking for, diet and nutrition and exercise. I think Media podcast listeners could benefit from first just sticking with it, persevering, not giving up, don't quit. But then once you start seeing some breakout videos, what can you learn from those? And once you have enough of a community to give you feedback, the content you're making right now might not be the best content ultimately. And you may need to pivot. And when you did so, your exercise videos, your diet and nutrition videos just started to take off and you started to see more rapid growth. Did I get that right? Kind of breaking down.
Yes, totally. Yeah, very good summary. Yeah.
Amazing. And so as a result, I want to talk about, man, how eventually you wrote this published book and some of the different ways you're making money and how this has affected your business. But before we dive into the nuances, what benefits has YouTube brought to your life, would you say?
A lot, a lot. So I'm not doing YouTube because I want to be rich. So I know a lot of people want to make money. That's their primary goal. I'm already a very successful doctor, physician. I have everything I need. I'm very blessed. I'm doing this because, and I'm making money out of AdSense and now with the book. But I'm doing this because I need a vehicle of education for patients. I don't have time in my practice. My practice is very busy. I already have a lot of, I don't need more patients. And YouTube is bringing me a lot of patients because they watch me and they want to be seen by the doctor on the internet. I don't need more patients. I already have enough patients. I have a very busy practice, but I want to provide the best care for my patients. And the best care means spending time with them. And if I want to see more patients and help more people, I need to see them in a shorter time of period because I only have 24 hours in a day. So if I can spend my time with them in the clinic, getting the information I need, examining them, and prescribe the videos. So now I prescribe videos. My prescription pad contains take this medicine. And by the way, this medicine that I'm prescribing to you, I have a video like amitriptyline is a medication that I use a lot for chronic pain. And now I don't need to spend 12 minutes telling them about all the side effects and what it takes. I say, here is a video that I made that I explain amitriptyline for everything that you need to know about amitriptyline. And they go home and they can, because the other thing, Sean, is at the end of the consult, I basically spend an hour and a half with each patient, a new patient. They're tired. They don't want to get a lecture from me at the end of, 1.5 hour being examined, tortured by the pain doctor. They are tired, they're fatigued, and they go home and they watch that video, me explaining, and they leave with the prescription pad. I want you to watch this, and this video. It just facilitates my life a lot, a lot. And not only this, but my students, I have a list. I have residents that spend time with me. I created a playlist. It's called Residents Start Here. And there's a list of videos. If you want to spend time with me, in my clinic, learning about pain medicine, they have to watch that playlist before they come because I'm going to ask them questions. And they love it because they say even though my videos are for patients, they understand what language I use to teach my patients. They understand what I'm thinking, how I talk to patients, and they just parrot and they copy what I'm saying. So they really like that. I got a lot of awards. In 2020, 2021, I got a call from the Pain Society of Alberta. And they said, Dr. Furlan, you got an award. I said, oh, really? Which award? I have it here. And they said, it's the first time we're giving an award to someone who doesn't live in the province of Alberta. It's the first time that someone outside of Alberta got an award. And this is an award that the patients with chronic pain select. And I said, what did I do for patients in Alberta to give me this award? And they said, your YouTube videos. So then that led me to another award. The Canadian Pain Society next year gave me an award. I got awards from the University of Toronto. So it has opened a lot of doors for me to become a better physician, I think, a better educator, a better teacher, a better professor of medicine. And now my colleagues see me as an influencer, as an educator, and with respect. So I initially, when I thought, well, how are people going to see me as a YouTuber? That stigma of being a YouTuber. Now they see me with respect. They ask me opinion. I sent some people to the VRA course because when they asked me where to learn, I said, go to the VRA. That's the best community. Even for promotion, I did not know I could be promoted at the University of Toronto based on the influence that I have on YouTube because people are watching my videos from all over the world. 220 countries watch my videos. And I put closed captions in 56 languages to all of my videos. And that is because people ask me. My patients here in Toronto, we have a very multicultural community, people from all over the world, and they don't speak English so well. So I have patients that they ask me, can you put, closed captions in Chinese, in this language? So I just kept adding languages, and now my videos have languages, closed captions in 56 languages.
I'm sure some of the listeners are wondering, how do you do that? Do you do that yourself manually? Do you just use Google Translate? What is your system for adding the languages?
So the closed captions is a very interesting. I developed my own method, and so I understand Portuguese because I speak Portuguese from Brazil. So what I do is I go on YouTube, and YouTube translates for you automatically. If you go on the closed captions, you can create. So first of all of my videos that are lecture style, they are scripted. I read from a script. And what I do is I upload my script, has the transcripts, and then YouTube will time them, create the timestamps for my scripted video. So that goes with the punctuation, the commas. Once YouTube has that English version of my script that is really good, I translate to Portuguese and then I read the translation in Portuguese. So if the Portuguese is good, because the Google Translate, of course, YouTube use the Google Translator, but if you don't have punctuation, the sentences don't have a beginning and end. And by having punctuation, you give Google Translator a framework what to translate. So it's much easier. So once I read in Portuguese, I know it makes sense. Then I just press the buttons for all the other 54. And then it takes me about an hour to do this for each video. And you know what I do? When I am just pressing the button, I put some podcasts. Usually it's your podcast, the Think Media podcast. I already watched all of the episodes of Think Media podcast. And I just listening the podcast and then just pressing the button to do the closed captions.
That is a powerful method. And for some, that'll be a great part to re-listen to think about particular content that can impact literally the world, 220 countries. You know, these benefits, mission, one of the things I love about you is, our mission here is to help 1 million purpose-driven people create a full-time living and a difference in the world with online video. And we're so inspired by your story, myself and the whole Think Media team, because you are a purpose-driven leader. And it's mission seems to be the biggest motivation for you, just this mission that you're on, helping more people, money, saving time, and the fact that it has saved you time to duplicate yourself. So many entrepreneurs can turn the repetitive tasks with team members or customers or onboarding into videos and save time, scale your impact. You've obviously been able to multiply the level of impact, the awards and the prestige. And one of my favorites, though, that you mentioned was it's made you a better teacher. We often talk about YouTube is, I think, one of the greatest personal development transformational experiences that anybody could ever do, because it's hard and you learn, you got to communicate. And if you are going to say something, but you might doubt it a little bit, you might research it. So you are even better researched, better organized, better structured, stretched, growing as a communicator. And saying it's made you a better doctor, so many benefits, and then respect from your peers, and congratulations on the awards, and even promotion, and really building a stronger personal brand. It's wild to see all of the benefits that have happened. And one of the benefits was you have a story about listening to a Think Media podcast. And today you have an amazing book. It's right behind your shoulder. And it's helping people with chronic pain. And it's on a traditional publisher. And it's wild because it's one of the biggest aspirations of people is perhaps to share their message in a book, but to think about a publisher even paying attention to them. Can you tell us this story of how even that other benefit of another income stream, essentially, but also another form of impact at another level? What is this story about how this book came about?
Actually, it was before I opened the YouTube channel. I had the idea I need to pass knowledge to my patients. I have so much knowledge. I want to teach patients. My patients need to learn. And I did not have a resource, a book to give to them. There are so many books about chronic pain, but nothing that had my methodology for conquering chronic pain. So I had the idea of writing a book in 2019. And then I mentioned this in the dinner table to my family. And then my son said to me, Mom, don't write a book. Nobody's going to read your book. Open a YouTube channel. You speak better than you write, and nobody reads books these days. So I followed his advice, and I opened the YouTube channel. But then I still had that in the back of my mind. I still want to write a book, and but then the YouTube channel was taking a lot of my time, and I was happy, and then one day, as I told you, I listened to all of your Think Media podcast episodes. It was episode 64. I don't know if you remember this, Shan. I think it was April 2021. I was on Spadina Avenue, stuck in traffic, 1 hour coming back from work. And you were there giving 12 reasons why a YouTube creator should write a book. Oh my God. And when I got home, I said, why did I listen to that episode? Because now I have to write a book. Oh my God, the reasons made sense. I don't know if I remember all of those, but one thing that made a lot of sense to me was once you write a book, you become an authority on your topic. Author authority. I remember you saying that. And even though I am an authority, I'm invited to give talks all over the world. I go to conferences. People invite me to talk about chronic pain. I think having a book is something that you can leave with them. And you mentioned that too. You said it's your business card that you're going to leave with people and they're not going to throw away, because a business card is something that they throw away, but they are not going to throw away your book. So that was also stuck in my mind. And you also said when you write a book, it forces you to organize your content. Great, because my YouTube content was a mess. It was all over the place. The other thing that you said was also once you write a book, people will start inviting you to give, interview to media, reporters, journalists. And I can tell you, my book was released last month, and I gave probably more than 20 interviews to radio, podcasts, and things that I've never, like the amount of interviews that I gave in the last month is the same that what I gave in the last probably year. So a lot of, and for me, basically, the other thing you said in that podcast, if I'm not wrong, when you write a book, you learn so much about your own content that now you have more content to create more videos. And that's true. So doing the YouTube channel and writing the book, I had to study a lot about chronic pain. I thought that I knew chronic pain in 2019 when I started this journey. But oh my God, I learned every video that I make. And when I was studying to write content for the book, you have to go deep, because whatever you're going to write in that book is going to stay in that book for a few years, right? And you don't want to write anything stupid or something that is wrong. So you really need to go deep and study. And so basically, your podcast changed my mind. So the journey then went where? How do I write a book? Do I self-publish? Do I get an agent? Do I find a publisher? So I ended up finding another physician here in Toronto. I met him in a conference, and he had published a book for people who have diabetes. And I asked him, and he introduced me to this publisher. The publisher is here in Toronto, and this is a publisher that they have experience with my public, because this publisher, they only publish books on nutrition, diet, food, and health. And I said, this is exactly the kind of publisher that I need. They know my audience because my audience is older women. Most people who have chronic pain are women and they're older. And when I looked at the kind of books that this publisher published, it's not like heavy on text. They have a lot of figures and boxes and tables, things that are very easy read. And then I approached them. I did a cold call. I did not have an agent. I cold called the publisher. And fortunately, I got the president of the company on the other side of the line. And what was interesting, I waited until I had 100,000 subscribers on my channel to do that call. And that was June 2021. And so June 2020, as soon as I crossed the 100,000 subscribers, I said, I'm ready now to call the publisher. And when I was on the phone with him, like first call, I said, here, I'm a doctor. I'm a professor at the University of Toronto. I would like to write a book. And I mentioned the name of the other author. He said, who are you? Why should I spend time with you? And I said, I have a YouTube channel. And he said, oh, wait a minute. And then I heard on his keyboard. And he said, oh, you have 100,000 subscribers. I said, yes. And then he said, oh, okay, let's talk. And that's our conversation started. And I ended up publishing with them.
Such an inspiring story and speaks to the hard work it takes to build up the authority of a YouTube channel, but it's a publisher's dream. And, you know, traditional publishing is very powerful and it's another level of authority, but self-publishing is also very powerful. YouTube Secrets is a self-published book. And yes, I'm excited. And we'll link up that resource in the show notes if anybody is interested in listening to that episode on 12 reasons to consider writing a book. But now I know that impact is the main thing that drives you and your mission. But the cool thing about having a book is you've done the hard work of creating it once, and it's also another revenue stream. It could be sold for the next years and years and years. And I actually wanted to read, I looked it up on Amazon and I saw Lynn Webster left a positive review. You already have all 5-star reviews. So they said it's just such a great book. But one of the things Len said is he said the numerous QR codes for videos where Dr. Furlan describes different types of pain treatments are especially helpful. This is an encyclopedic amount of information. And it feels like a personal office visit with Dr. Furlan explaining pain and how it is best managed for that individual. We did something similar. We didn't use QR codes. We'd use like, I think it's tubesecretsbook.com/1,000 subs or something like that. And we would link to videos. It's so cool that as even content creators, we can tie our videos into the book or the book into the videos and create that experience just to add more value, impact more people. And so congratulations on getting all of that out. And it's so inspiring to see the impact. So speaking of these income streams though, now a book is one. What are the other income streams? You mentioned money is not even the purpose because you're already busy enough in your practice, but I'm sure YouTube ad revenue. Have you embraced any other kinds of income streams?
Yeah, so far the ad revenues are good enough for me to be able to hire helpers, and I hire people to help me with the social media posts, and that is and the editing, video editing, and I have students also that I can hire to help me do the research for the topics because coming up with the topics is it's a hard creativity and you need to do research and find. So I'm able to have students and go to conferences, and the book is the other source of revenue. I have been approached, Sean, by a lot of products. They want me to do product reviews and to do collaborations, and I'm still reluctant to do that. I don't want to, because I do products reviews and I have an Amazon affiliate, which is not a lot of money, but it's enough to buy me some books here and there and gift certificates. But I'm very reluctant to do products reviews of products that I actually don't recommend. I think there is a very, especially as a physician, recommending products, people will really pay attention. And the industry of supplements, the industry of massage guns and pillows and mattresses and treadmills, I get contacted almost every single day. by one of them who would like to pay me to do videos, and but I did not open to that yet, because if I do, I don't know if I will ever do, but if I do, I want to do something right, something that I really believe and I can test. And it's not something that is super expensive. I find that a lot of these products, they're so expensive, and I just I, I can't make that propaganda for them and ask my patients to buy that kind of expensive product, because I don't believe that they need to spend a lot of money on that product. So if I really don't believe, I'm not going to say anything.
That is a powerful framework we can all learn from. Your conviction is, and the what you teach, it sounds like, is there's a few supplements that you do recommend. And if you do use Amazon affiliates, I'm sure some might be picked up at a pharmacy, so there wouldn't even be an affiliate link. So in some cases, affiliate marketing is irrelevant. But it sounds like a lot of your advice is exercise, activities, actions. And what you're saying is this multi-thousand-dollar miracle cure that a business wants to promote is not something you believe in. And so you would, if you were to promote that, it would be against your values. And I love the word you use, propaganda. That is a powerful framework for us all to learn about, because on the flip side, I think about something like a PEMF, pulse electromagnetic therapy. Now, yeah, I'm sure you might even have an opinion on it, but some of these mats can get very expensive, right?
Very expensive, and there's not a lot of evidence that they work. And, there are a lot of things that are, when you look at the amount of money that people could spend on chronic pain treatments, it's just crazy. And the majority of them, there is no evidence from scientific studies, even for the pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical industry makes a lot of money selling products, but I just published a paper today in JAMA that is about tapering, reducing, stopping opioids. So maybe the pharmaceutical industry will not like me because I'm teaching people how to taper, how to stop taking opioids for chronic pain. And so there is, if my conscience is not clear, if I really don't believe and I don't think this product, this expensive product, is going to help anyone, I will not open my mouth. and and I had to refuse very nice products. They would send me the product, they would pay me a fee, and I would get a commission for every product that would be sold with that code that they would give me. It was a lot of money, but I said, okay, I prefer to sleep well at night with my conscience clean. And I know I don't need to confess that in the morning when I wake up.
That is so powerful. It actually reminds me, I think the Apostle Paul said, I've lived my life with a good conscience before God up to this day. Talk about building a strong brand, talk about building a real legacy, and the impact you're making. That is very inspiring and is a good framework for us as we consider maybe a brand that approaches us or different things we want to promote. But I want to ask you, for those listening to this that are maybe just starting, they're under 1,000 or under 10,000 subscribers. What advice do you have for people starting new channels?
Hmm. Yeah, so persistency. Trust the process. I think if people give up early, that is the easiest way out. Just say, oh, it's not working for me. But if you're doing something good for the good of humanity, if you're teaching something, if you're entertaining people, people need to be entertained, people need to smile and laugh. It doesn't need to be only education. As long as your content is healthy mentally, physically, and you are creating something that can help at least one person in this world, it's worthwhile. Human beings are worthwhile investing. Human lives, if you can help them, whatever, solve their problems, trust the process. And try to improve, like follow what Professor Shankano says. Improve 1% with each upload. Follow the VRA. It's great. Your VRA method is amazing. It's so well thought and so structured. And Listen to your audience and don't rush. I think if people who try to rush and make big monies quick, they end up making mistakes that they may later regret. You may post things that you will regret later. You can delete those videos if you regret, but uh, don't, your image is also important. Don't try to do silly things just because everybody's doing silly things. If you are a silly person and you want to entertain doing silly things, that's fine. But don't try to do things that it's not natural to you. Be yourself. Don't try to imitate other people because it's not going to work. And people will notice that you are not being real. I think YouTube is about being real. It's about being yourself, bringing your own identity, my accent. People make fun of I have a video on vitamin D that everybody hears vitamin G. It's my accent. And they criticize me. Oh, she doesn't even know how to pronounce vitamin D properly. I said, who cares? That video has 2.5 million views already. So be yourself. Don't be ashamed of who you are, how you dress, how you look like. You are going to find your tribe. You're going to find people who want to follow you and listen to you. Trust the process. I think I don't have better advice. It's fun. Have fun. I think sometimes it's hard to be creating content week after week, but because now I batch record, yesterday I recorded 4 videos, but there were some weekends, like I usually record on Saturdays, but yesterday was a holiday here in Canada, was Victoria Day. Usually on a Saturday I can record 6, 7, 8 videos, and then I'm free of recording for 2 months. And then it's fun because when I come back to record, I kind of miss it. I said, oh, it's so nice to record again, because last time I did this was 2 months ago. And then I put makeup, I go to the hairdresser, I apply makeup, I choose my wardrobe, and I buy new dresses. Make it fun. Make it like you are awarding yourself. You are, making some change in people's lives. And look at the camera, smile. Remember to smile when you're looking at the camera. People will notice. People will react to you. I think when we smile at the camera, on the other side of the camera, people will smile back. And when I look at the camera, when I'm recording, I'm always looking at the middle of the camera, and I'm trying to imagine who is listening to my video here. Is it a person with pain? Is this person suffering? What can I say to alleviate that suffering a little bit? And then I read the comments. Reading the comments is my fuel. I would say if I didn't have comments to read on YouTube, I would stop doing this, because listening and reading those people saying how I was able to help them and alleviate their pain and alleviate their answer their questions. There are people from all over the world, that they don't have any resources. They don't even have access to physicians or physiotherapists. And they tell me in the comments, you are the only person who is helping me. That is something, right? That is a big responsibility. And that's the fuel, what really gives me emotional fuel to continue doing this.
One of the best answers I've ever heard. And you touched on so many mindset things and not rushing and keeping it fun. And you also mentioned that VRA has been helpful. When did you actually join VRA, and what difference did it make?
It was May 2021. I did attend you did the 1 week, what do you call that? The video challenge. Yeah, I did a 1 week video challenge, and at the end of the challenge I signed up. I remember asking Heather Torres at the end of that week. I said, Heather, I already have I think I had 80,000 subscribers when I signed up. I said, do you think VRA is going to help me, because I already kind of I thought myself as a successful YouTuber. And she said, Andrea, this is going to be gasoline to your fire. She could not be more right. Yes, I have now 530 growing, and 45 million views on my channel. And it's unbelievable. When I look at my stats, every hour I get about 2,000 views. I said, oh my God, I was just having coffee for 1 hour. And in this hour, 2,000 people were listening and looking. One day, Sean, I had to open, I went on Google and I had to Google what is a 2000 seats auditorium. And they showed me like I think it was an opera house that had 2000 seats. And I said, this is the amount of people who is watching me every hour. Unbelievable. I could be sleeping and then 2000 people are seeing me. It's the power is just unbelievable.
That's so encouraging to hear. And what a powerful illustration. I know many listening maybe aren't getting 2,000 views every single hour yet, but are oftentimes getting a couple thousand views of video. And you giving us the visual illustration. I know that we can all right now just imagine picturing a stadium, picturing an auditorium, picturing a theater, and picturing just people listening. That would be amazing to pack out a theater and be able to teach or educate or entertain, but we have that opportunity on YouTube, and to see how your channel has multiplied and truly how gasoline has been added to the fire. So grateful. And you're living the dream. You've heard me probably teach it a million times now. This idea of creating videos today that can impact people tomorrow. And you have multiplied yourself because VRA is different than the way other people approach things, where sometimes they do want to go viral by jumping on a trend, but then the video goes up and it goes down and it's forgotten about. Where you're building this library of videos that are getting views 24/7, 365, impacting people while you sleep, impacting people while you're having coffee. It's so incredible. I have a practical question for you that would apply for maybe some of our other medical channels, and also maybe service providers that have fiduciary responsibility or different things. How did you figure out as a doctor giving out medical advice? And of course, you probably have to just basically, I'm asking you, what do you do for a disclaimer, and what advice have you learned about that when you're teaching content that could be related and maybe a disclaimer is necessary?
Yeah, yeah, that's very important. That's specific to our profession. So before I opened the YouTube channel, I consulted with my college and my protective medical association, that's the insurance. So I contacted both of them because the college is the one that gives me the license. So I could lose my license if I do something wrong. And the medical protective association is the one that would defend me if I am sued or something happens to me. And both of them were very supportive. They have already documents. So my advice is check with both of your organizations before you open your YouTube channel. And what they told me is they already had policies and they directed me to read those policies and documents. And those documents were very clear that they encourage physicians to get on social media. They were not against. So I was happy with that. And they said, we encourage because it's a service that you're providing to the public. You are educated, you have this knowledge, and it's important that the public sees the faces of doctors in social media. So that was very assuring. And then they went through the rules. What are the rules that you can engage with the public that are safe and things that are dangerous? So they have policies on disclaimers, what you have to write in the disclaimer. So I have a written disclaimer on all of my videos, and I also talk about the disclaimer. So when the disclaimer appears on my video, I also read loud. I also have the disclaimer on my description of the video. And so 3 places. But not only the disclaimer, they also have policies on how you engage with the public, how you respond to comments, and also not to disclose in any of my videos or comments anything that is private related to my patients. So if I see someone in the morning, I cannot come in the afternoon and say, oh, I just saw a patient this morning and it's Miss So-and-so and she has this and this. That would be a breach of confidentiality. What else? They also talk about engaging with commercial products, if you engage in doing advertisements, propaganda, you have to disclose that you are being paid by the company. So the person that is watching you, they need to know, they must to inform them. But also not only this, they say you have to only do propaganda and advertisement for things that you really believe and things that you really use. So there are all kinds of policies. And so I advise anyone in the healthcare field to check with your bodies wherever you are, your state or your province, check with them first, read those policies, and don't be afraid. Just go and put your face there.
There's a massive takeaway for all of us. I've learned that a confused mind always says no. And many listeners to this, maybe they're not physicians, but oh, I don't know if I want to do affiliate marketing because what if the government gets mad? I don't want my videos to get deleted if I react to somebody else's video because it's copywritten material. Well, when we have a confused mind, we always say no. We're in fear. I love that you said don't be afraid, but get educated. Go just figure out how to do it. And once you get that clarity and the information is out there, we talk about fair use inside of VRA, and you can research that on the internet. You went to two different sources and researched and got the confidence, and then you put together the different disclaimers. At the bottom of our YouTube description, we actually have a link to a disclaimer, and we do disclose like affiliate links and sponsorships right up top, but it's also just it's a general disclaimer. And in fact, this inspires me to even invite some lawyers back on the podcast. A friend of mine is a social media lawyer, and so the takeaway I want people to hear is that it's not a reason to go, oh, it's going to be too complicated. It's a reason to get educated. It's not a reason to shrink back and worry about what might happen. It's about learning the skill sets and just the proper procedures. Because once you have those things in place, then you can have confidence and think about who's waiting for you on the other side. Your story is so inspiring. I love that. That's ultimately what the physicians organization wants, doctors want you sharing this, because this information matters. And we're serving people here on this podcast where they have messages that matter, information that matters, ways they can help people. And so get educated, learn what you need to learn, get your, ducks in a row, get your things dialed, and get your message out there. Dr. Andrea, you've added so much value here. I want to have you shout out how people can follow you. And I'm certain that many people watching this are actually dealing with chronic pain right now. As you and I have talked, I've dealt with repetitive stress injury, kind of tendonitis and tendinosis, and a kind of a pinched nerve from my neck to my pointer finger on my mouse arm. And your videos, even I think before I realized you were in VRA, you had, I think, talked to Heather, you had joined. Later on, you became a part of VRA show. But I remember, and even a couple summers ago, I rubbed all this CBD icy hot type of stuff on my arms every day because I was in so much pain. And I have a TV at our Seattle residence. I would turn it on. I would go to YouTube and I would look at like tendonitis stretches and exercises, and you would come up as I would search for specific problems and specific pain points. And so I want to make sure people can find your YouTube channel. I want everyone who's dealing with any chronic pain or knows somebody dealing with chronic pain to pick up a copy of your book. So where can people find you and find your resources?
Yeah, so on YouTube, it's just my name, Dr. Andrea Furlan. And there's the link to my book. It's on my website, www.drandreafurlan.com. But the name of the book is 8 Steps to Conquer Chronic Pain, a Doctor's Guide to Lifelong Relief.
Amazing. And so I encourage you, check out everything in the show notes, wherever you consume the Think Media podcast. And Dr. Andrea, thank you for coming on.